Hey friends, it's Jim Dancy. If you saw my last video, then you will recognize me. I work with Party Town on their wine program. And today we want to bring you something a little different, something that we just brought into the store. Some very fun wines. It's completely different. It's something extremely unique. And it's from a part of the country that a lot of people don't immediately think, a part of the world that a lot of people don't immediately think of wine coming from. I'll give you a hint. Where was the first soccer World Cup game ever held in the entire world? It's Uruguay. Kind of weird, kind of fun, very interesting. It's actually a very swanky place, super, extremely beautiful and nice, and has a lot of attributes that make a wonderful wine. And I have done wine tastings with this particular wine before. It's a winery called Bodega Garzón out of Uruguay. And I've done tastings before, and what I did is I did a lateral tasting. So I started in Chile, then I went to Argentina, and then I went to Uruguay. I think from your angle it would be Chile, Argentina, Mendoza, and then Uruguay. So if you start in a winery just outside of Santiago, Chile, and you start walking due east, and you went directly over the Andes Mountains, you would hit the Mendoza vineyards in Argentina, and drink some wonderful wines there. So you'd start in a wonderful winery in Chile, go over the mountains, come down into Mendoza, and I mean just going straight east, just following the sun, right? Going into this rising sun. Hit the wineries in Mendoza, enjoy your day, and then you just trucked it across South America, straight due east. You would eventually run into Uruguay and these vineyards, Garzón. Extremely interesting place. One of the coolest secrets about Bodega Garzón is that it is built, the winery is built, and the vineyards are built on the oldest piece of granite, the oldest granite rock formation in the entire world that we know of. It's 3 billion years old, and it's a granite rock that goes from Uruguay all the way up to Rio de Janeiro. The vineyards, they have 1,200, over 1,000 different vineyard blocks that have different characters, completely different. They grow on all of these to get this unique diversity, but it's all grown on the soil on this granite rock. It's decomposed granite. So each one of the wines, especially the first one we're going to taste, has a little bit of this really beautiful minerality to it that comes from this, just in a unique wine that you're not going to see in wines from anywhere else, California, Spain, Argentina. So the person that started this is Alejandro Bugliani, and he started this winery about 12 years ago, just over 10 years ago, with his wife and family. Like I said, not many people think of Uruguay as a place for wine, but in 2018, they were voted the #1 winery for New World wines. And that's absolutely, if you think about that, by Wine Enthusiast, if you think about that, that's incredible. They were voted in 2018, Uruguay, with a little winery, a swanky, funky, cool, awesome winery, was voted the #1 winery in the world by Wine Enthusiast magazine. It's a big deal. When was the last time you had an Uruguay wine? But anyway, it's cool stuff. Great winery, great family that owns it. I'll put a picture up of the family so you can see them. Just wonderful place and wonderful people. So we're going to try 3 wines today, but they're all going to be from Bodega Garzón. And we're going to try the Albarino, the Tannat, and the Cabernet Franc. So anyways, let's get right to it. The first wine is the Albarino. So the first wine we have by Garzón is the Albarino. It's obviously originally a Spanish varietal. Very interesting. One of the cool things about this varietal in particular from Garzón is this one is made in stainless steel tanks, 3 to 6 months in stainless steel tanks. It's fermented, but they have a super fine Albarino. I'll put a picture up of the barrel that they age it in. It's just bizarre. It's a long tubular barrel. It's just nothing I've ever seen before. It's just something to look into if you have time. Really cool stuff. But on this wine, like I said, you're going to get some minerality, but there's something else you're going to get being as close to the Atlantic as it is. And let's try it and see what we find. So that's beautiful. You get a lot of citrus fruit, nectarine, some peaches, some stone fruit. You get the fresh acidity, but on top of all that like fresh fruit, you also get a little bit of this oiliness. And what I was talking about a moment ago was being so close to the Atlantic, you get this brininess. So I say like salted apples, I said nectarine, like a briny nectarine. A wonderful white wine that's going to go great with seafoods like prawn salad, even Asian foods, maybe a tuna ginger salad. It's just a great, maybe also a seafood risotto, mussel seafood risotto. Just a wonderful introductory into Garzón wines. It's a palate cleanser. Also, I'm going to point out that these are all line priced at $15.99 at Party Town. So great price. Okay, so let's see what we have for the second wine. The second wine is going to be the Tannat. So the second wine we have is this awesome wine, Tannat. Some of you might not have ever heard of it, but it's a delicious wine that is kind of put Uruguay on the map in a lot of ways. It's not originally from Uruguay, but it's known to be from Uruguay now. So let's give this a shot. Again, $15.99. Yeah, a lot of red fruit, but a little bit of like maybe tobacco on the nose as well. That's interesting. I've had this before, but it's been a while. Like I said, I've had the tasting and I've read up on it. But that's just really interesting. That's a lot of fun. You're getting red fruit, you're getting black fruit, you're getting red cherry, raspberry, but you're also getting black plum, rhubarb. Again, that tobacco I mentioned. A little bit of like dark chocolate and maybe a finish of white pepper. It's elegant. It's beautiful and strong and bold. Let me just take another sip of that. I like that a lot. That's great. What I really think is cool about Tannat is I mentioned that it's known to be from Uruguay, but it's not originally from there. It was actually brought to Uruguay in the 17th century by a group of people called Basque people from Basque country, Basque settlers. And I like this because I'm from my heritage on both sides of my family. One comes from Romania and the other comes from Basque. And Basque is a little country, a place that's in between Spain and France up in the mountains. It's supposed to have one of the oldest languages. But I love this. It personally touches me because the Basque settlers in the 17th century that went over to Uruguay brought this with them and planted it. And that's how it got there. So really cool. A lot of good history. The third wine, the final wine, is going to be the Cab Franc, and let's check it out. Okay, so like I mentioned, the last wine is this Cabernet Franc, a wonderful noble varietal. Obviously, this is in a lot of Bordeaux wines on its own or blended. Let's see what we have. Well, first of all, on the nose, you get a lot of interesting things, some complexity right off the bat. But what I see as I'm pulling it up to my face is the color. It's just a deep, wonderful deep purple with highlights of violet highlights, which is just interesting. On the nose, you get the minerality that I mentioned that almost always have these Uruguay wines. You also get some spice, like a little bit of like fresh ripe pepper and some forest fruit. You know, a little bit of dark chocolate, a little bit harder to find, but it's there. Nice. Let's give that a second. That's complex. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot to it. It's a lot darker fruits than the Tannat we just had. You're getting some dark prunes, some black raspberry, but being a noble varietal, you're getting that eucalyptus mint thing going on. I really enjoy that. I think this is the first video I've done where I've taken 2 sips on each glass. This is great. A gorgeous wine. Complex. This is something that will stand on its own. You can just enjoy it, have a few glasses on its own, or you can pair it up with food. Personally, I found out that Kroger right down the street has some ribeyes on sale on the bone, $7.99 a pound. And I think this is going to pair up perfectly with that. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. If I were you, I would recommend going to Kroger while they have the deal, getting a ribeye for $7.99 a pound, grabbing a bottle of this Cab Franc, and going home while they still have the offer, and going home and enjoying this, or ordering it curbside pickup, have Kroger bring it out or deliver it to you, and stay safe and healthy. But that's what I recommend doing tonight. I'm going to do it myself. I hope my wife doesn't complain, because that's what we're doing. You guys, always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for letting me in your homes again. We will see you in a week or two with something new. Thanks, you guys. Bye-bye.